All right, here we go.
Here we go. Well, welcome. I'm so happy and honored to have my dear beloved brother Leiven Hwang with me from Hawaii. And before actually we really dive into a conversation, I would love to invite you, Leiven. You are the founder of AWOVEN, a beautiful online community that is all about authentic connection and authentic dialogue. And every time I join your AWOVEN gatherings, which are twice a month, you guide us initially through this beautiful embodied meditation. And I would love to just share this experience with our listeners. Would you love to do that?
I would absolutely love to do that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me into this conversation and for opening with this delightful invitation to invite us to here in this space, as well as anyone who might be listening and taking this in, to dive deeply into ourselves. And so wherever your body may be, whether it's sitting or standing or lying down, I invite you to gently close your eyes and relax into your body as you do. Taking a deep breath in and letting that breath drop all the way down to the belly, filling the space in the core of your being, maybe even expanding into your back and down into your pelvic bowl. Holding it at the top briefly, and then slowly, gently relaxing into the out breath. Letting the in breath gently expand your being as you relax into the expansion. Letting your awareness be of your entire body and whatever may arise in this moment. On the out breath, letting go and knowing that whatever it is you're sensing or feeling or experiencing is perfectly okay. On the in breath, breathing in the capacity to be with all that is. Watching as that breath drops into your core and allows your awareness of your being to be full and expansive. On the out breath, relaxing, letting go once again. And continuing at your own gentle pace for a few more breaths. Letting each inhale be deep and full. Letting that in-breath light up your body, your being. Letting each out-breath be another invitation to let go just a little more. And if your mind occasionally jumps to some story or something out there, simply notice and invite your attention back to breath, to body, to the easefulness of this natural state of expanding and contracting. And on the next in-breath, I invite you to slowly open your eyes. Return to the space that you are in. Slowly, just looking around the space as you maintain this deep, gentle breath, as you maintain the awareness of your body and being. Letting your awareness of the space around you bring that sense of expansion into it and safety within it. So good to be here with you, Gabi, and here with all of you who may be tuned in.
Thank you, Leiven. Ah. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Certainly, Gabi. Before we move forward in our conversation, I would just like to touch on one small point. When you introduced me as founder, I am one of the founders of AWOVEN. We have 4 co-founders altogether. My beloved Caleb, as well as Shems Hartwell and Heather Salmon, who, without their contribution, without their gifts and guidance and geniuses, AWOVEN would not be.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Leiven. Thank you for clarifying and sharing that. I absolutely appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes, I know your beloved wife, Kayla. We've had some amazing women's circles together here in Taiwan.
Yes.
Where you both lived for quite a few years.
Yeah.
And where we also met. And Shems and Heather, I have never met in person, but I have met online as well. 2 other wonderful human beings. So it's really fantastic that you have founded AWOVEN together. And I feel like, in your guided meditation, the one thing today that really stood out for me and that I felt so much in my body is when you said, breathe in the capacity to be with all that is. And that's just so like really letting that sink into the body. And for me, that is so much what AWOVEN actually is and what we do there as a community. So would you like to share a little bit more about AWOVEN at this point, and why did you actually co-found AWOVEN, and what's the intention with the community?
Thank you for this beautiful inquiry, Gabi, and how wonderfully you frame it as well. I love this piece that you bring in from the grounding in that we just got to experience together, and how that resonates with the intention and the essence of what we hope AWOVEN to be. And yes, I'd love to share about AWOVEN. We feel that AWOVEN is a space where everyone can feel not only safe, but brave in the space. It's a space where we cultivate the art and skill of authentic, healthy communication. And we do so by practicing being in challenging conversations at times, conversations on topics that can be difficult in this fast changing world, in this world where so many things pop up that feel like we've never had to deal with before, or that we're having to deal with in completely new ways because the old ways simply aren't working anymore. And these changes create a lot of fear. And at the same time, as the old ways are failing, the systems are coming apart, and those calcified ways of doing things and being are crumbling, through the cracks, these new possibilities are arising. These new ways of being, of engaging and understanding are arising, are able to be seen and heard. And what that unfolds as externally in the world is polarity. So much possibilities, so many differences, so many previously unseen ways. And, a lot of the initial reaction to this diversity is going to be fear. Fear of what's new, what's unknown, fear of what might bring more change. And so, we've noticed that diversity in creating this polarity, because of the fear, leads to divisiveness. It's not that the diversity and the polarity is good or bad. In many ways, it's a positive because new opportunities are there. People who had been marginalized and oppressed are able to come forward and be seen, be heard, be more supported. And there's also the reaction of those who feel very invested to or attached in the old ways, in the set ways, wanting things to stay the same. Of course, there's going to be a fearful, divisive reaction to that. And those new voices that are coming up that have been suppressed and traumatized for so long, they're going to have their own fears that are going to contribute to ways that they might be divisive as well. And so we see AWOVEN as a space, as a community where we can all come together with whatever challenges we are each carrying, we are each facing, and be able to share about and express those challenges with each other in ways that aren't judging each other, in ways that aren't making demands of each other, except the demand to see each other and to hold space for everyone's experience with a heart of understanding, acceptance, and support, knowing that each person's experience is real and is important to that person, meaningful to that person, and that individual's growth and transformation contributes to the growth and transformation of the community, of the world.
Yes, yes, yes. And that, I have to say, from my personal experience, being a founding member and part of the AWOVEN community and the AWOVEN gathering, that truly is what AWOVEN is, truly,
Awesome.
truly.
Yeah.
For me, I think you touched on one very crucial point for literally, every human being alive on earth at the moment is fear, which truly is a very natural reaction to all that is, happening and we are experiencing. And as you mentioned, that fear can easily drive us or lead to separation, right? Like, I'm right and you are wrong. And like, fear is, while natural and totally understandable, really in that sense can easily inform us in a way that, let's say, is not necessarily very healthy ourselves and to the whole, right? And I feel this
Absolutely.
is so beautiful. What you are doing with AWOVEN is to the space, the real safe space that you have created and you are creating there, and from my own experience, which allows to really be vulnerable, to really be vulnerably authentic. I almost want to say, because I think as human beings, especially in these times, right, we feel so much. There's so much stuck in our hearts, in our souls. And one of the keys also for myself, I notice, is when we feel safe enough that we can actually express that. And we know we are just seen and we are being heard and we are being held without judgment, right?
Yes.
Without anyone trying to fix us up.
Yeah, exactly.
That in itself is so healing. It's so healing and it's so transformational, and just so absolutely beautiful. And that's exactly what it is for me, that where we can connect really again, human to human, heart to heart, soul to soul. And so thank you so much.
Certainly, Gabi, you're so welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you for expressing your beautiful experience of AWOVEN and how it meets you, and also, Gabi, thank you for what you bring into AWOVEN as one of our founding members. We're grateful so fully in our hearts for not just you, but all the founding members who've been part of creating and establishing the beginning of AWOVEN. And we're so excited and curious to see how it will grow. And and all those pieces you shared of your personal experience of it, it means so much to me. And it lights me up so vibrantly to hear you speak it, because that's exactly the vision and that's exactly the hope that we have for all who join AWOVEN.
Yes. And I imagine at the same time, building a community like that is not without challenges, like everything in life. And I feel like if you want, maybe you could also share a little bit about those challenges, because I always find there is so much value as well when we can just share with others that really, like everything in life, right? There's always a wonderful bright side.
Yes.
But especially, I find, especially when we feel called to do and to create something and co-create something that comes so much from our soul, and in so many ways really also brings in a new paradigm. There definitely are challenges.
Yes, so true, Gabi. Thank you for expressing that piece with such clarity, and for this further invitation to be authentic and vulnerable here with you. Yeah. The way that you support AWOVEN and support my efforts in it, Gabi. I don't know how to express my appreciation for it deep enough, except for simply to say thank you. And
I feel
sharing, and sharing about some of the challenges. Absolutely. I feel like the biggest challenge is simply that since AWOVEN began, the person doing all the things has really been me. And there's so many of those doings that I'm just not good at. Was aware that they needed to be done and had not yet been able to bring in the support that I needed to make sure those aspects were done well. And I'm sure you remember, through the first 3 or 4 months, we had social media posts twice a week. And I did have some support in creating those. Kayla was a beautiful part of that, a very efficient, effective part of that. And also, I simply don't have the social media know-how and acumen to really be doing it in an effective, impactful way. And so I feel like that has been a very limiting aspect of how AWOVEN hasn't been able to grow as we hope that it would by now. And so we're making a big shift, or in the process of making a big shift, and trying to bring in a new partner to take over and to be fully responsible for AWOVEN social media and emails, and I'm very, very excited that it's somebody who is absolutely masterful at doing this, and the hope is that the wonderful conversations we've already had will continue to unfold into a full collaboration and partnership, because we do fully recognize that whoever steps into this position is really going to be such a huge part of the engine of its growth, and so the way that their involvement is brought in and structured needs to fully recognize that person's contribution and partnership in what AWOVEN may become. That feels like the greatest challenge, really. There were all these other pieces of efforts to expand and share about AWOVEN in different ways that didn't quite come to fruition either. And so at this point I feel like, well, all these things have been tried. They didn't quite work, and so here we are, and we've got this direction and this possibility, and I'm excited to move forward to see what may become of it.
Yes, yeah. Well, I truly wish you that this perfect person will really fully be called and step into this partnership of this co-creation, especially being masterful, but really also enjoying all this part of social media and emails and all of that. I can so relate to that, Leiven.
Yeah,
that's one of the parts, like when we create something new, quite often, even though we have wonderful people around us who absolutely support in different ways, we often feel ourselves like actually doing in a way everything, right? And this I can share with you, it's really also my biggest realization of last year, actually. Starting to offer some of my retreats here in Taiwan, that I realized, okay, I would love to offer retreats on a regular basis. I would really love to build that. But the one thing I really absolutely don't enjoy, and I'm not good at, is all the social media, the promotion of the retreat, all this background work that is actually very, very important.
Yes.
And so that's also when I said, okay, of course, I could choose to learn to do that and still do it, but I would still not enjoy it.
Totally get that. Yes.
And so I did also call in a partner into that. And
Wonderful.
I feel this is so fantastic when we can be supported by somebody who is good with that and who enjoys that.
Absolutely.
It's a crucial aspect. So I do absolutely wish for that for AWOVEN.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your blessing and prayer on that.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, because besides AWOVEN, we met in Taiwan a number of years ago. At that time, you were You were a partner in a beautiful restaurant called Naked Food,
Yes.
and then I still remember you going a lot into also your own inner work, your own inner healing and transformation work, which was so beautiful and amazing to see. And we met once even in my place in Austria, which was really very beautiful too. But I know besides AWOVEN, there is really an amazing body of work that you have created already over the years, coming originally from your work as an architect and designer, and then really moving into the inner world as well, the inner work, man's work, retreats as far as I know. So would you share a little bit more with us as well about that whole body of work that you bring and so beautifully share with the world?
Oh, absolutely, Gabi. Thank you so much for asking of it. It all falls under a larger umbrella of creating spaces and impacting lives to transform and heal people and planet.
Wow.
And the creating spaces aspect of it, in its most basic form, refers back to what you'd mentioned earlier about my work in architecture and designing buildings and designing interior spaces and occasionally products as well. But that is the part of creating, shaping physical spaces. And part of where I see AWOVEN coming in is that it's a community that is online, and that's very much a virtual space. That's a container in itself where the vision is to have healing and transformation arise out of this virtual space community. And then the other piece is impacting lives, which, of course, the spaces that we spend our time in, whether it's our homes or the places we work or the places we go to relax or to have any kind of experience, they need to be shaped, and they can be shaped and created with an intention for healing and transformation. In terms of how those spaces are not just physically shaped in terms of their proportions and the materials used, but also the intention for what these spaces want to be. And then adding to that piece of impacting lives and healing is the work that I feel so blessed to be able to be a part of offering guidance and facilitating folks in their own journeys of growth and transformation, whether that's in an online program, as I've been doing with Shems for a little over 4 years now, I think. And the most of that work is focused on work with male bodies, with men, and with AWOVEN and some other gatherings that I've done in the past. I've felt the call to shift that to an open, gendered space where bodies of all can come and join and be a part of and feel safe in. And also, I do offer one-on-one guidance as well. And all this is naturally unfolded as part of my own personal growth and transformation and healing. Simply having that desire to share what I've learned and what I've been blessed to experience with others that it may resonate with.
Wow. I'm yeah.
Go ahead, Gabi.
No, I just feel like, this, I almost want to let this sink in for a moment.
Well, let's
because,
see.
I've known you, Leiven, for quite a few years. and as I shared with you before, and I love to share it again, it's like ever since I've known you in this life, I've always felt so safe in your presence. Like I always felt totally safe to really be myself and to completely express what I feel, what I sense, what I think in the moment. And always having been amazingly received by you in that. And that is such a gift to me that you bring, that you are with your authentic self. And, you know, even though I have known your work, but in a way, hearing you speak about it in this sense of creating spaces that heal and transform, whether it's physical spaces, whether it's an online space, whether it is like a space of holding a space with your presence, simply with your presence, to somebody else in a one-on-one session, or in a setup of a group. That really is like, it's the first time that I hear you say that, and that just really fully resonates so deeply for me with really who you are.
Wow. Thank you so much, Gabi.
Totally.
Thank you deeply for seeing and receiving me and experiencing me so fully and with such a loving, caring heart. Yeah, the one-on-one guidance piece is a new piece for me. Only recently been, I feel like it's something that I've been offering to those close to me, those dear to me, for quite some time now, in a more informal way. Just simply when we have time to connect, when I have time to connect with others, and letting them share about their challenges or whatever is alive that's alive for them with me, and holding that space of acceptance and of pure witness, and if asked for, being able to offer feedback and perhaps guidance in support of whatever it is that wants to be seen. And I feel like since I've formally structured the offer, it's really opened up deeper pathways for me to continue exploring what's alive, not just within myself, but also for those that I am serving. Having that structure is so important because it invites a deeper willingness to explore than simply arranging a call to discuss or to explore whatever the present challenge might be. Having that structure of mutual commitment to 10 weeks together or 10 sessions together, just opens the space for more to be seen, for greater possibilities to be healed and transformed.
Yes.
And another piece of what's been so beautiful about it is that it's also shifted the kinds of design projects that I get to be involved in. I remember about 6 months ago sharing with Kayla that, I really love design work, but the kinds of conversations I have with my design clients, the meetings I have with my design clients, they don't light me up the way that the conversations and drop-ins that I get to have with people who I'm supporting and offering guidance to. They don't light me up in the way that those conversations do. And what I found is that the projects I'm involved with now, the clients are also on their own paths of growth and healing and transformation. And some of the meetings turn into sessions where I get to hold space for that client and facilitate the looking at and the unearthing of some obstacle that is there in their lives, but that is also impacting the project, and thus clearing it through that work of personal growth and transformation.
Yes.
And so these two pieces have fully come together. And I get to have these deep and just beautiful explorations for all of my clients now, whether it's for design work or whether it's for one-on-one guidance or in group facilitations. And it feels so good. And it feels so affirming that this is how it's all coming together.
I love that. I totally love that. And I mean, what an amazing, gift and support to your clients in this as well. Because it's like I feel, listening to you when you speak about that, it's like everything truly is interwoven. Right?
Yeah.
And it is bringing that together again, because I think that's something we have done for so long as humans. We have separated everything, like this is work with my personal life, but it's all interwoven, of course.
Absolutely.
And it's all an expression of our inner world, of our inner space. So I just absolutely love, how you are bringing this, how you're weaving that together again, and then in a way almost like in your own reflection, then also attract those clients who want to obviously also weave that together again, and who want to heal and transform themselves, but also bring that actually really into the spaces they create. And I love it because I can see everyone lighting up with that, like it lights you up, it lights them up, it lights up the space, like everything gets lit up.
Yeah.
That's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, Gabi.
And Leiven, I love what you just did, because this, I can tell you, has been always my greatest inspiration. Observing you and being in your presence is you have such a beautiful, joyful, playful nature, and you're so in your body and in the connection, with the earth, with the elements. So this is really what's always been my big inspiration. I'm like, yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. It's really an absolute joy and pleasure to be in your presence. Thank you. It absolutely is. Wow. 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 Oh my gosh, now I can't wait and go and visit you and Kayla in Hawaii. I'm serious.
Please come. Please come.
And dance and sing and move together. Yeah.
And we have a guest room for you.
I love it. I totally love it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Ah, yes. Yes. Well, I feel like maybe as a completion of our dialogue today, what else comes up? What else is alive for you right now? What else would you love to just share with us? This dialogue was actually inspired, as I shared with you, by a very dear sister of mine here in Taiwan. Jen Yang, who interviewed me last year. She has an authenticity podcast, and she interviewed me last year for that. And then she said, Gabi, do you feel called to like ripple this out and to also interview someone from your circle? And I immediately felt a big yes, and I immediately had you Leiven come up, and I was like, no, I gotta have this dialogue with Leiven.
Wow.
So I feel I wanted to share that as well, and also send a virtual kiss to our dear sister Jen here in Taiwan.
Thank you, Jen.
And just feel like give you also just a little more space here to just share whatever you feel called to still share with us.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that piece with me, Gabi. I'm so deeply touched that you so immediately thought of me for this interview. I'm so grateful for this invitation, for this chance to be in presence together. And yes, thank you, Jen, for initiating this invitation to authenticity. I would love to see your interview with Jen, and also
I'll share it with you, definitely.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
I'd love to see what other delicious conversations she's had as well. Yeah. And as to what else feels alive for me in this moment. I feel like my body is so open with gratitude in this moment. Gratitude in being so deeply seen and loved and appreciated. Gratitude for all the possibilities that are unfolding for nourishment and support. Especially at this time where there's so many challenges for so many. Whether it's war or whether it's the continued suppression of how people truly are. There's so many that are facing challenges that are so deep at this time. And my heart goes out to them, holds them in my prayers. Deeply appreciates their courage in facing all that is before them. And recognizing their tenderness and fragility and vulnerability. And how nobody should be in a place where they're forced to be so resilient. And so taking that as an invitation to explore, how can I be more resilient within myself? How can I breathe a little deeper, expand a little further, actively be of more support in whatever ways that are truly meaningful, not in ways that might be compelled by my sense of guilt, our sense of fears of not being enough. but diving deep to be clear about what ways I can be of greater service to those in need that come from a place of my own truth, and how I may resonantly share my gifts and resources. I pray for the guidance and the wisdom to walk this path and to manifest this intention deeply and impactfully. Thank you, dearest sister, for allowing me the space to speak from my heart.
May this be so.
Mm.
May this be so.
May this be so. And so it is.
And so it is. And so it is. Thank you so much, dearest brother.
Mm.
Thank you for your beautiful heart and soul and human being. You are a true blessing to us all. Thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome, dearest sister. Thank you for your love and blessings. And so much love and such deep, beautiful blessings to you in return.
Thank you.
May all unfold nourishingly and expansively for you, dearest. And to all of those who may be here with us, may life be nourishing and expansive for you as well.
Yes.
And may you share that nourishment and expansiveness with all whom you connect.
Yes. I feel like this is just the perfect moment to complete.
Beautiful. It is indeed.
Thank you. Thank you.